Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today, due to the inclement weather and a strong wind, decided just to come and take you to the headquarters for the Knights Templar in the southeast. This is Shipley Church, and this was built in the 1100s, just after the Norman Conquest, them arriving here in 1066. So this would have come under the domain of William de Braose, and William de Braose owned Bramber Castle, and off in that direction over there we have got Knepp Castle. He also owned Knepp Castle, and I've done a separate video on that. Interesting, these steel gates, as we can probably see here. Obviously used a different type of gate previously, and we've got some symbols there of the Knights Templar cut into the stone. Here we can see the symbology of the Templars, these crosses. It's a Templar cross, and here this octagram gravestone, quite unusual. So one of the features of this, or unusual features of this church, is that the church has sheep in the churchyard. They use these to keep the grass down, but looks like they need to be supplemented with extra feed in the colder parts of the year. It's amazing to see the different types of construction gone into this church. So on here we've got these flints around about here, mixed in with stones, and then down here these flat stones, and then later here we've got these buttresses. Here, this one made out of much larger big stones, and this one, these sort of red stones, which might be a sign that they've got iron in them, possibly. And then when we come round the front here, we've got these undressed stones, more reminiscent of a Sussex church. And then when we come round to here, again more dressed stone here. Now this part of the church is a later addition. The northern chancellery was added, I think, in the 1800s, and that's just a sign that the parish of Shipley was growing and had a much bigger congregation than before. But if we head this way, we can see where probably the church was extended previously. As we come down here, suddenly, right here where this window is, there's a big change in the type of construction. We've got these flat stones mixed in with these bigger ones. Now, it's not an uncommon practice for this to be done, for, reusing the stones from previous construction, and some of the stones here are very reminiscent. We're right next to Knepp Castle, and I've done a previous video at Knepp Castle, and when I was examining that, a lot of the stones were this flat stones mixed in with these much bigger ones. And as you can see, some of the bigger ones are quite old, quite weathered. Been a lot of repair work done on this building over time. Yeah, I would suspect that originally it would have been this section here, the tower, and that bit there, and as time has gone on, it's just been extended along. When we go inside, in this end section here, the chapel, On the floor of this chapel is some mosaics, and the mosaics look Roman. Not sure whether they are, but that could be where some of these older stones have come from, that maybe the Romans had built something out of stone here previously and they were repurposed to build the church. Another of the symbols for the Knights Templar, just casually laying there on a gravestone. So this being a Norman church, it has the classical square tower with a flat roof. Later on, or earlier now, but originally it would have been built like this, but in later life there was a spire, wood shingled spire on top of this tower. But the reason that the Normans would build this type of tower on their churches is that it was easily defendable. So worst comes to worst, you could have soldiers on that tower and they'll be able to rain fire down on the people below. On some churches you'll see it's almost castellated on the top. On this one it's all been finished off very nicely. Right next to Shipley is an old windmill. We'll come back and do another video on that another day. So right here we can see quite how close we are to the River Adur, or a tributary of the River Adur. Right here. Obviously this is silted up over the years, but originally this would have come right close to the church, and this would have allowed the Templars to sail from the sea in and dock here and get direct access to the church. Got an amazing old path through the churchyard, big chunks of stones leading up to the main door. So originally this piece here would have been down by the river on the quayside, and that was used for the Templars to moor their boats. So this church wouldn't be complete if we couldn't find the benchmark. Looks like this has been replaced on newer stone, and this one is located on the northwest corner. As we can see, the church is undergoing some more work, but just wanted to point out these very grand graves here. Can't access them because it's on the other side of this electrical fence, but just goes to show the wealth of a parish with all of these fine stone gravestones. So this church was renovated in the 1800s, and part of the renovation was to remove a false ceiling.
So up here we had a flat ceiling attached to the timbers that you can see crisscrossing across. If you look hard enough, you can see the attachment still to where the false ceiling originally was. Look at this wonderful sermon holder in the shape of an eagle, kind of reminiscent of an Egyptian relic rather than a Christian one. Not sure whether this is normal. If you do know whether this is a standard piece of equipment, then please comment down below. I've seen one similar to this in the church at Stenning, so maybe it's a standard bit of Christian kit. Here we have the organs. These are a later fitment, part of the refurbishment back in the 1800s. And it's just a sign of how wealthy this congregation would have been to afford a fine piece of equipment and set of organs like this in a relatively small parish. This is unusual. It looks to me like it's a Roman mosaic. Haven't seen this before in any of the churches around here, and it's pure speculation, but it's quite common that churches were built on older buildings, and we've seen some of the older bricks on the outside which may have been from a previous building. So I just wonder whether there was a Roman habitation here before the church. The mosaics look very similar to the ones we saw in Fishbourne. So this magnificent marble tomb is of the Carroll family. The Carroll family were one of the wealthiest families in this area for around about 200 years. They made their wealth in the iron industry in this area, and you can see outside on the structure of the building some of the iron in the brickwork.
Some lovely old buildings out in Shipley, and interesting to see this couple here, a Royal Mail post office box and a old telephone box. Don't see these around very often. They're very much a sign of Britishness. Interestingly, it still works. So it's got some books in there, which is often what happens to these units. They get turned into like a free book exchange, but yeah, it says lift handset to make a call. So fully functioning, this one. So I'm going to head back to the car now, just like to thank everyone for watching. If you could hit the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner, it will help me to make more content. And just like to say thank you to the people that look after this fantastic church and allowing us access to the church every day. Quite unusual these days with a lot of churches being locked up.